Have you ever thought about moving your family to Spain? Well, that's exactly what we did in 2018 when our three boys were just 8, 6, 4 and our daughter was 1. So that was 7 years ago. It's now 2025. So much has changed during that time. The kids are all fluent in Spanish. The eldest two are in secondary school. We've had a great time. So we're now ready to share our story. If you're looking to move to Spain, whether you're a family or a couple, then hit that subscribe button, follow our journey. We've got loads of videos coming up, loads of advice coming up, and basically what's happened to us over the last 7 years of living here. So what's it been like raising a young family in Spain? We're now in 2025. The kids are 15, 13, 11 and 8, and so much has changed during those 7 years. We're now going to share everything that's happened to us since we got here in 2018, right the way through to now in August 2025. So why did we move here? What made us leave the UK? Which schools did we put our kids into? How do we find a property? Whether you're renting or buying, your cost of living compared to the UK, and everyday family life, what goes on and all the challenges that come with it. So that's all coming up and we're going to start sharing that with you now. This is our story. We moved from the UK to Spain in 2018 when our children were just 8, 6, 4 and 1. Fast forward 7 years and this is them now. 2 teenagers and 4 bilingual children. So why did we leave the UK, come to Spain? So one evening back in 2017, we were sat there in an evening just discussing our lives and just that it wasn't going anywhere, and we wanted more for the kids. We like the weather, we like being outdoors, so we said, well, why don't we move abroad? And that was it, that was the start, and it just turned into an obsession. We had no social lives in the UK, the weather was rubbish, we were just living, we weren't existing. And we knew that if we took a gamble, then we could make a better life for ourselves. And we thought, what's the worst that can happen? If it doesn't work, we move home. That was 7 years ago, and we're still here. So it didn't take a lot of research to find out that the best place for us was the Costa del Sol in southern Spain. It ticked every box: quality of life, warm weather and a new culture. So after months of research, reading other family stories through blogs, watching YouTube videos, just getting as much information as we could from other families that have moved here before, we decided to settle in the beautiful coastal town of Estepona in southern Spain. That's 90 kilometres west of Malaga and 20 kilometres from Marbella, so it's absolutely ideal for us. First discussed leaving the UK back in 2017, and 10 months later we'd packed up our house, we'd sold all of our belongings, we packed the kids and our lives into 2 cars, and we then left on a ferry from Portsmouth to Santander. And from the moment we stepped foot onto Spanish soil, we've never looked back, literally not even once. On August the 12th, 2018, we arrived at our new home in Estepona. So we'd already found the house for a local letting agent and we got a 12-month tenancy agreement, but that was it. Apart from researching and reading other people's blogs, that other families that have moved here, we didn't know what to expect. It was all new to us. So new house, new culture, different climate, different way of doing things. As the kids were still young, we wanted them to learn Spanish straight away, so our main priority when we first moved here was finding a local primary school. And it was an all-Spanish primary school as well, right in the middle of Estepona. So all 3 boys started, we dropped them in at the deep end. Nobody spoke any English, it was just an all-Spanish school. And they were always happy, they never moaned about it, they just got on with it. And within a few months they were communicating in basic Spanish. Within about 8 months they could hold conversations, and then in about a year they were completely fluent. The school also had a preschool, so we started our daughter there when she was 2, so she's now been at the same school for 6 years. The older 2 boys have now moved up into Spanish secondary school. Ash is following next year, so it will literally leave Maya in the local primary school. So that's it. The last 7 years have just gone like that. And as I say, they've all grown up through state school. We found it worked really well. On the subject of schools, I can understand it's a bit of a minefield. It was for us when we first moved here. We had to watch quite a few videos and read other people's blogs to make our mind up on what we want to do for our children. Doesn't mean to say that's going to work for you. We've got friends that have put their kids into private schools, so some English, some American. They don't learn Spanish as easily as other children, but their education is probably a few grades above. So there's pros and cons, which is again what we're going to discuss. We've made another video, or we're making another video purely dedicated just to schools, because it is a bit of a minefield. As I said, there's so many options. So we're going to look at state schools, we're going to look at private schools, and we're going to look at all the options in between. Some of our friends have put their kids when they were young into a local primary school to learn Spanish, and then when they've gone up into secondary school, they've put them into an English private school. So again, we're going to discuss all of that in an upcoming video, so make sure you look out for that. Our quality of life and the weather were the two main reasons we moved to Spain, so let's discuss. Firstly, quality of life. How's it changed for the better? So the weather makes a massive difference. The UK averages about 160 days of sunshine a year, compared to about 320 days of sunshine here in Spain. So living in a Mediterranean climate definitely makes you feel happier. It's given us so much more time outdoors in the evenings and at the weekends. The boys are always out. They're either in town playing football, they're out with their friends exploring. They just don't stay in. A lot of their friends in the UK just seem to stay in most evenings and a lot of the weekends, whereas ours, they're just out all the time. And we don't have to push them either, it just comes naturally. We never say to them, guys, you're in too much, go out. They just do it, they're just gone. And what about me and Hannah? How's our social life improved? So we make the most of it too. Hannah works near Gibraltar. She gets home about 6 o'clock most evenings, and I work from home. So I pick the two smaller kids up from school. We eat around 6:30, and then we head out for an evening walk. And what's amazing is that after 7 years, it's not a novelty. We still love being outdoors just as much as we did when we first moved here, and honestly, I don't think that'll ever change. Here are a few clips of our weekdays and evenings, just to give you an idea on what we get up to. If we both had a long day and we're tired, then we normally just have a short walk around the port. We love it there in the evenings, watching the sun setting over the marina. If we're feeling a bit more energetic, then we normally walk into the old town. And it's a beautiful walk along the seafront, through the new pedestrian section, and then into the old town. And it doesn't matter how many times we wander around the old streets and squares, we always see something that we haven't seen before. Plus we love the noise and atmosphere that comes from the local restaurants and bars. Most of the restaurants and bars here are open all year round, and it's still pleasant sitting outside even in the winter months. Every Friday evening we normally stroll into the old town and try a new tapas bar or restaurant. The boys are normally always out with their friends, so it's just the three of us. We usually spend a few hours soaking up the sights and the atmospheres before heading home. After our meal we usually walk back past the port on Christo's beach to watch the sunset. On a clear evening you can see Gibraltar and the coast of North Africa, and it really is a magical experience, and it doesn't matter how many times you see it, it just doesn't get old. The climate here allows you to do that. It allows you to make more of your days and evenings. We love the weekends and usually head towards the beach, so sometimes for a few hours and sometimes for the day. We either go to Lorada Beach, which is on the main Estepona seafront, or we go to our local beach, Christo's, which is a 10-minute walk from our house. We can get lost for a whole day and night, and we've got so many sunsets here in the evenings with the kids still swimming after dark. The town's also got many festivals and street markets throughout the year, so there's always something going on, even in the winter months. Estepona Port's got a Sunday market during the day, and there's also a Wednesday day market in the town. There's also plenty of night markets that come and go throughout the summer months, selling a range of clothes, jewellery, handmade products, and there's plenty of food and beer stalls as well. And there's always something for everyone. Okay, so let's talk weather. I mentioned earlier that on top of quality of life, the weather played a huge part in the decision to move here. So what's it like? I may as well start at the beginning of the year and the coldest month here in Spain, which is January. So January has been a mixed bag for us over the years. One year it averaged about 14 degrees during the day with sort of mixed days of cloud and rain. Another January we've been in shorts and t-shirts with days hitting 21 degrees. In January, even on sunny days, it is still fairly chilly, especially in the mornings and the evenings. If the sun's out, as I say, you can wear a t-shirt, but if you're out of the sun, then the wind can be cold. So that's something to think about. And I would say that January here is the equivalent of March and April back in the UK. The weather in February climbs a few degrees. You can definitely still wear shorts and t-shirts if the sun's out. Again, the wind can be cold out of the sun. Mornings and evenings are still going to be chilly. In March and April, the weather's really pleasant. We've had temperatures of up to 25 degrees before, and the mornings and evenings are starting to warm up about now. Summer months start at the end of May, usually like clockwork. The skies are blue with very little cloud cover. Mornings and evenings start warming up, and the temperature just keeps rising right the way through till mid-August when it peaks, and then it starts to cool off in September. October. So October is officially the wettest month of the year. Again, it's a completely mixed bag. Some days are overcast but still warm. 1 October, we had a few days of rain for the whole month, and then the next October it rained solid for 3 weeks. So October is a mixed bag, but generally it can still be warm. November and December is a mix of cloud and sun with some rain still around. We've still been out in t-shirts in December with some days hitting 20 degrees. Again, mornings and evenings are going to be chilly. But overall, we have found the weather in Spain to be absolutely fantastic, and it's allowed us to spend so much more time outdoors, and yeah, it just makes life so much happier. We have 3 new videos that we're currently working on, so make sure you keep an eye out for new content. So the next videos are going to be cost of living in Spain. We're not just going to cover the groceries and household bills, we're also going to look at the cost of fuel, car insurance, eating out, taxes, everyday costs, what it costs us as a family to live here in Spain, and we're also going to compare it to the UK. The second video we're working on is schools in Spain. So we discussed this earlier. There are a lot of options. I've got a friend of mine who sends his kids to private school, so I'm going to have a chat with him, and that's going to go on camera. And I've also got a friend who's a teacher at a private school in Sota Grande, so I'm going to be chatting to him as well, and we're going to put all that into the video. So we're going to look at a lot more depth, all of the options, and yeah, everything about schools. So the third one we're going to look at is finding a property in Spain. So whether you're thinking of renting or buying, we're going to look at the costs, what you can get for your money. I'm also going to interview a local estate agent, again one of my friends, and a letting agent as well. So we're going to look at costs of buying and letting, and the pros and cons of both. And also we're going to give you a current tour of our home, the house that we're living in now, how much we pay for it, where we are, and anything else, any other information you need to know about finding a property in Spain. So those 3 videos, really important, and they're all coming up probably within the next few weeks, so keep an eye out. I hope you've enjoyed our first video and introduction to our life here in Spain. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We've got so much more coming up. They're all going to be packed full of useful information based on our own experiences, and our goal is to help other families fill in the blanks and offer advice moving to Spain. See you soon. Bye.